Hello, 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 hello. Diva, I see you here. Are we the only ones here, Diva? You know, I haven't been on, so it's hard for, people to know that I'm coming live now, but I promise once a week, right? So I'm going to run this short clip, let a couple more people come in. This is what we're talking about tonight. Thank you to those who are joining me. Please make sure you hit the like. And if you don't mind, when I run the missing person clips that I do, please try to share those out. It'll help with trying to get some of these women home. This is another story about a sister missing from Houston, Texas, but they seem to think perhaps some foul play like trafficking is going on. So I'm gonna run this and then we'll get busy. So this young lady is 24-year-old Felicia. I'll run a clip, tell you a little bit about it. She has been missing now for 11 days from Houston, Texas. And I will run this little clip and then we'll come back and talk about it. I think it's some serious foul play here, but we'll talk about it. Let me.
Disappeared 10 days ago, and her father says a reward may be increased in order to bring in more tips. Jason Miles is live from Bear Creek Park, where Johnson's family says her phone was found. Jason?
That's right, Lynn. A PI hired by the family claims he found Johnson's phone covered in blood here at Bear Creek Park. Further reason the family believes foul play is involved. Flyers like this are posted at Bear Creek Park, where 24-year-old Felicia Johnson's family says her bloody phone was found, while her father, Kevin, continues to keep her name in the news.
I'm her father, I'm the face of her, and I'm her representative in her fight to come home.
He came to Houston from his home in San Diego after getting word of Felicia's disappearance.
And nobody's going to fight this fight more than me, harder than me, and longer than me.
He says his oldest of 3 children was last seen April 15th at Cover Girls Gentlemen's Club on West Little York, where she applied for a job days after coming to town from California to celebrate a birthday and earn some extra cash.
She fell into something that she couldn't get out of.
Community activist Quanell X, who helped organize a vigil last night, said Johnson got into an unknown man's car when an Uber ran late, and that the club has not provided surveillance video or any other information.
Now, I have so many questions about this disappearance, but this is 24-year-old Felicia Johnson. And like I said, she went to Houston. It's kind of like, hey, Shay, what's going on, baby? Shay, you already know I'm following this one. It's conflicting stories. And so some say at first the father says she went there to celebrate her birthday, her 24th birthday with family and friends. In another news, I think it was another news broadcast, he said that she was alone. She didn't run in a pack. She ran by herself. And we all know that when you go out to nightclubs and parties, that can be dangerous when you by yourself. You should run with some other women. But nowadays, from what we've seen, you don't know who's your friend, who is your friend, and who's not your friend. You know, there has been some setups. However, she traveled from California, and I think she must have been a dancer, right? An adult entertainer, a stripper, whatever they want to call it. And of course, the father don't want to say nothing, bad about his daughter. So he said she went there to celebrate her 24th birthday with some family and friends. He said she was into herself. She was loving, kind, sweetheart. She'd give you the shirt off her back, and she was into herself. So she was into the way she dressed. You could see she was a nice looking lady. I can't, I have to give her that. She was nice looking. She looked like she kept herself together. So when she goes to this club, that's Felicia. Nice lady, looking lady. She go to this club, Cover Girls Club, right? I'm sorry. She go to this club and allegedly they turn her away. She go there for employment and they turn her away. So she decided she was going to grab an Uber. And from what I hear, she was headed back to her hotel. So she wasn't staying with families. That's where I'm a little confused. She wasn't staying with family or friends. It sounded like she was staying at a hotel. So I'm not sure if Felicia went there to work at this Covers Girl Gentleman Club or she didn't. She went there to celebrate her birthday. Either way, the girl has been missing for a long time. And 13 minutes away from the club, they found her cell phone in this Bear Creek Park and it has blood on it. These evidence has been turned over to the Houston Police Department, who is involved. They have this search team who was involved. The father, he hired a private investigator. I think Mr. Johnson now has a GoFundMe because he wants to stay there longer to see, what's really going on so he can get answers about his daughter. So they find this phone, they turn it over. They go to this club, and it's a little hazy here because I'm not sure if they did not let Mr. Johnson and Quinnell X, who's being a representative for Mr. Johnson, he's the leader of the New Black Panthers in Houston. So I'm not sure if they went there and they was turned away. However, I'm quite confused on how do they know that she left with the gentleman, because she didn't get in the Uber because the Uber was taking so long. So they don't have the footage. Supposedly they go release the footage. So how do they know it was a gentleman that she left with? That's what I would like to ask. I would like a question to be answered. Why was it a gentleman? She could have left with some girls. Did she go there by herself? Like I said, Mr. Johnson was really adamant about his daughter didn't run with women. She was by herself. So if she went to that club by herself, who would have reported that she left with a gentleman? That this gentleman, after she got tired of waiting for the Uber, offered her a ride and she took the ride. And from there, she vanished into thin air. Now, we do know Houston is the number one, because I went and collected that on Houston is number one when it comes to human trafficking. Now, human trafficking don't always mean sex trafficking. It could mean labor trafficking. So I don't know in her case if they think that she was trafficked to, is that a word, trafficked to? They think in sex trafficked to, maybe. I don't know if that's a word, but it sounds crazy. So I don't know, but they suspect foul play. I suspect foul play. Again, I'm not sure how they know she left with a gentleman. If they don't have no footage, they don't have anything in the phone, saying that she left with this man. How do they know she left with a man? It could have been a woman, Now, I did go on my friend's platform. I didn't go on his platform, but I went over to his live, and Mr. Johnson was over there speaking. Shout out to Ratchet TV Media, because he follows deep. Like I told y'all, a brother get deep, and he gets these people on his platform. So Mr. Johnson was on there, and he's not saying too much, and he shouldn't, because he don't want to impede the investigation. And a lot of times, out of curiosity and suspicion, we ask a lot of questions, but some questions is being avoided intentionally because you cannot answer those questions because it can impede the investigation. And he seems to think that the HPD is really working with. Now, according to the conversation they was having last night, they think it's bigger people involved, like really bigger people. And you know how bigger people could cover up something. So when it comes to this human trafficking, it is bigger people involved. And a lot of times, because they work so close net, it's hard to really get any results in resolve, so I don't know if they would resolve, what happened to Felicia, because if it's going down the way they said it's going down and some big people is involved, then it's hard to touch those people. And perhaps this girl, if she wasn't murdered, Then she's into sex trafficking somewhere, allegedly. All this is alleged. I haven't spoken to anyone. I haven't even spoken to Mr. Johnson. This is from video footage and from social media and newspaper articles, news articles I read, right? So if it's those type of people involved, then they may never find her. And then, like Mr. Johnson said, that he had his own private investigator, but I think now he is running out of funds, so he has a GoFundMe, trying to get funds so he could stay longer, because it's going to cost him some money to stay wherever he's staying. But he's adamant about finding his baby. Now, I said I have so many questions. How do they know Felicia went to Houston by herself? And Mr. Johnson said he got news that she had been missing. News from whom? See, he's not saying a lot. A lot of it, like I said, is not adding together. And that's why I don't know. I don't believe the father's hiding anything, but I believe he's saying less because of the investigation. He don't want to impede the investigation. But whom did she go with to Houston with? Now, you had a young lady on Ratchet TV. I told you I always give him his props and shout him out. He does a great job when it comes to that. This investigation part, he gets a lot of missing pieces, information. But a lot of times it's speculation on our part because we don't have facts and we don't know. So I'm only saying everything allegedly. But the young lady happened to work for a sister company. Shay, was you over there last night watching Ratchet? She worked for a sister company of this Cover Girls nightclub. And she said they do hire women of color. It was told at one point to the public that they didn't hire women of color and they turned Felicia away. That's not true. They do have women of color. And if you don't make it over there, you can make it at their sister nightclub. These are nightclubs where you could get any type of, entertainment you want if the money was right. Now, again, I'm confused. Did she go there looking for work? Because Quinnell X, who is the representative, who's the spokesperson somewhat for her, with her father for Felicia, said that she went there seeking employment. The father says she went there for a job and decided she could make some extra cash. So I guess they basically the same, right? And she was turned away, and that's why she called the Uber. The Uber was taking so long, and she got in the car with someone. Now, it was a sister on Ratchet TV's last night said that she used to work for the sister company, and she knows a lot about that particular nightclub and the sister company, right? The sister nightclub. And she said that they do some things in there that she really didn't want to mention, but she used to work for them. And she said that is not a club. And this too struck me like, she said it's not a club that you just go to. She said someone would definitely have to direct you to that club. So she believes she was with someone who turned her on to that club, that particular club. She said it's not a club. Like, you know how you could go on a gentleman's club, maybe in Houston is really big. They probably have tons of gentleman club, but this one is like an exclusive. Am I right, Shay? This is like an exclusive big money gentleman's club that you get paid at, and she says someone had to direct her there. So that leads me to believe that that girl, that young lady, and when I refer to girl, I don't mean it like that, but that young lady was with someone, and someone knows something. Now, they haven't released the footage. Last I heard from Mr. Johnson, they had the footage of the inside, but not the outside. So if she was standing outside of the club waiting for Uber, and there's no footage, there's no cameras, then they don't know who she could have gotten into the car with. If she was in the club, they saw her talking to someone. They're not saying very much themselves. The owners, they said, don't come to the nightclub. They don't return calls. They don't be bothered with the nightclub. Basically, they paying someone else to run it. That's what they say. So they weren't able to get hold to the owners for any comments. like I said, I believe perhaps something happened. Now, if I don't know what amount of blood was on the phone. You know, if it was a little blood, perhaps she was in a scuffle trying to get away or something and scratched or whatever, and so a little blood, or was it a lot of blood? He's dropping info tonight. Okay, thank you, Shay. I'll go over there. But she said, yes, I'm right. So let's see. So I don't know, but again, here's another Black woman missing. And Cornell X and the father, along with a lot of us, seem to think when it comes to women of color, they're not that interested. Especially, and don't get me wrong, I'm not being judgmental, especially when it comes to young women of color or women of color, the way they present themselves, some people judge them as less than. When you're a dancer or a prostitute, an adult entertainer, they view you less than. So when you go missing or something happened to you, they don't get involved as much, because unfortunately, people still do look down on jobs like that, occupation. But however you get your money. But it's dangerous out there. So when the dad say she don't mess with anybody, she stay to herself. When you go to clubs, you should go with someone you really trust, though, a real true friend that you trust. And you guys should always stay together, basically. You know, beyond the dancing and all that and partying and having drinks, you need to be careful. If you go together, you need to leave together. So I'm not sure. Like this lady says, someone had to direct her to that nightclub. So where's that person? Because perhaps that person knows what happened. But like I said, they tight-lipped because of the investigation. They don't want to impede the investigation, but they really do. They look down on you. And I don't know if we as Black women, and I'm going to say women of color, I'll say it like that, because I don't want to think that my commentary is solely for Black women, because it's not. It's for women in general. But I focus a lot on women of color because I am a woman of color. So I focus on my own, right? So they look down on us. When you dress like that, you dance, you prostitute, you strip and all that. So when you go missing, it's like, oh, it's just another one of them. They could have been out there selling their bodies. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, to be honest, it is what it is. Those are dangerous jobs. You know, to walk the street is dangerous. To sell your body and to have sex with people you don't know is dangerous. Sometimes you have sex with people you know and it's dangerous. They bring you back something. But getting in people's cars. So I'm not sure if Felicia, and like I said, I don't want to make this young girl look bad. She was there to get the money, but sometimes it's not about getting the money when you're not in a familiar place and things happen. I pray that she returns home. But again, even if the foul play is what they think she was trafficked to, then she may not make it back home. Some of them don't make it back home. And then you have agencies who on a daily basis hunt for young girls and young lady and even boys. Sometimes boys, it can happen to boys as well. They can be trafficked, and you have people who look for those people every day. And if you know somebody, and I'm not saying if you all know somebody, but they look for people who's trying to escape that lifestyle. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. Ain't no amount. Yeah, all money ain't good money. And my father told me that when I was young, and I didn't understand what that meant when he said all money ain't good money. And I was like, okay, money is money. You're young, you don't know. But as I grew older and started realizing what my dad was speaking about, all money is not good money. And unfortunately, they in that business. And that club is noted. They have closed down a couple of them. Houston is noted for trafficking. Is the number one. Like I said, I did the statistics on, is the number one city, Houston, for trafficking. And that's because it's so close to the border. They say it's so close to the Mexico border, So, and it's not always for sexual, pleasures. It could be for just working children or women, and working them and not giving them the proper wages, not allowing them to care for themselves. But they do have tips and red flags on uh human trafficking, things you should look for, and I think I'll upload those tomorrow. I tried to grab some. It wasn't a lot, but they tell you what to look for when you in clubs and stuff. But again, they say some big people, some powerful people, Shay, I'm right, some powerful people own those nightclubs, and they are noted for doing things like this to young ladies. And so a lot of times when you have the power like that, you're almost untouchable. If someone is not blowing the whistle on you and an organization or something, you're almost untouchable. And that's how it can go on for so long, because no one to tell on you, because out of fear, they're not going to tell on you. And the father have been told to shut up. Now, by whom? He didn't say by whom, but he said he was warned. And that gentleman is there by himself, but he looked like, he up on everything. He know what's going on. He said he's strapped. He got his thing. Houston is an open carry state, so that means everybody could walk around with guns. He's by himself. So hopefully the brother remains safe, and they don't do, because he said he's not going to shut up. He don't give a damn. So he's kind of fearless, like, it doesn't matter. This is my daughter. If I have to lose my life over her, I'll do just that until I have some answers. Hey, Tony Montana. So the father is there. Like I said, he has a GoFundMe. I have so many questions. I don't even know who alerted the father that she was missing. Because I think, if I'm not correct, and Shay has been following along with me, who alerted the father that she was ever missing for him to fly to Houston if she wasn't with anyone? Because he is adamant about her not being with anyone. So who alerted him that she was missing? I got just so many questions. Somebody had to say, hey man, we haven't seen Felicia. Now, if he would have said that, hey, I hadn't heard from her in 3 or 4 days, she normally calls me every day. Like for me, my daughter calls me every day. Now, my boys could go missing. I wouldn't know, hell no. But they don't call, but my daughter calls me every day. So if we go out the routine of her calling me every day, it would alert me, damn, I ain't heard from my daughter. That's strange, But he says someone told him that they hadn't seen her. So who is that someone? Who took her to Cover Girls? That lady said she has worked for that sister company. They operate just the same. She said you have to know somebody to put you on to that club. That's how somewhat exclusive it is. She said you could walk in there for $300 or $500, do your due, and get paid. Hey, Tony Montana, what's happening? So you could make money there. So somebody told her, hey, Felicia, we could go down here at Cover Girls nightclub and we could make bank. But when she got there, they said no, they weren't interested in her. Now, I'm not knocking her. She was going to get her bag. And for her, get it any way you can. For me, I'd do something different, but I'm not knocking her or judging her. She was down there. But if she was just going down there for her birthday, why was you trying to get a job? But I think they have traveling dancers too. This is something that ran across my mind. I know. They have women who travel to different states to dance, and they go to exclusive clubs like that because they know they can make the money. And so was she a traveling dancer? And perhaps her dad didn't know. Maybe she was into dancing and she just decided she was going to go there because somebody told her, hey, you could go and you could make bank here, Felicia. Let's run down to Houston. And she did it in lieu of her celebrating not in lieu of her celebrating her birthday, along with celebrating her birthday as well, her 24th birthday. Either way it go is a sad story. It's very sad. This is the second or third case of missing women in Houston, Texas. We know what happened to one of them. We're still not sure about Felicia and the other one I believe, was it Ella? Was Ella from Houston? Ella Goody? Still haven't heard anything about her. So was she trafficked it out? Let me read some of these. I am flabbergasted by them saying they don't have cameras outside. There's no way. Right now, according to the news clipping I seen the news clipping today, I think it was, they said that they have camera footage, but they don't have any, like you said, outside. No way. How do they know she got in the car with a man? It could have been a woman. It could have been the sister she went there with, if she went there with someone. Like the girl said, you have to know somebody to get on at that club. That's how she got on, because somebody put her on to the club. It's not one of those clubs you could just walk in and say, hey, I want to dance. Then she said they have forms that you fill out in these gentlemen's clubs. So where's the form? Again, we may not be getting all of the detail because they don't want it to affect the investigation. So I'm going to take it like that. I'm sure that the father has confidence that HPD is working on the case and they doing all they could do. So he's stepping aside. He's still doing his thing by investigating what's going on, but he allowed them to do their job, which he should. Now, every cop is not crooked, but then you have some departments that's crooked. It is what it is. And if they getting paid, and I know it's a such thing as getting paid, because I remember when I was young, my uncle had a nightclub, and they used to do what they call after hours. How club has to close down like at 1 or 2 o'clock, and they would keep the club open, but only certain people could come in, and they had those people in the blue on their payroll so that they wouldn't bother them. So is a possibility when you have places like that those people are working together with you. Yeah, because he used to pay for them not to raid his place. And they had a lot of after-hour joints. Even when I got grown, I knew of some after-hour joints. If you was, after the club closing, you wanted to hang out and drink a little more, party a little more, they called them after-hour joints. And them after-hour joints, you had to pay those boys in the blue not to mess with you. So they were on your books. So when you have places like this, and they ain't good with the boys in blue, they on their payroll a lot of times. So they not going to bother you. Somebody knows what happened to that girl. So hopefully they get the footage. And it'll show somebody. Strip clubs literally pay people to watch the cams all night. Oh, they do that so they can watch for SWAT. Okay, see, that's how they used to be at the door of the after-hour club. You had somebody who had a camera. In fact, Diva and I, about 2 years ago, we went to Virginia. And some of our family in Virginia have a club. And there's cameras all around that house. And it's just a house. It's cameras all around that house. And they play cards and they do other things, I guess. But it was cameras all around that house. And they had somebody watching those cameras. So, Tony, I could believe you on that one. You're absolutely, I don't know. Someone told the father, he's not saying though. I know, Shay, who could have told the father? Because he said she didn't have no friends and she was by herself. So who called and told you? Like I said, I have a lot of questions. She has a lot of family there. They may be how. Oh, she has a lot of family there. Oh, okay. She has a lot of family thing. Also, she wasn't active on social media. No, they said she's not active on social media. It's just she just vanished into thin air. Again, 13 minutes away from the club that she was at, they found her bloody cell phone. Now they have EquiSearch. I think it's called EquiSearch, and they searching on horses and they searching high and low. And they out there looking for her. Houston Police Department say they doing everything. They treating it as a missing persons case, and they are doing everything they could do as a police department. And I think other people are getting involved. I think the father said the feds are involved, so they are treating it as a missing persons case. But again, you know your demographic area, you know what goes on around there, so you know people. And Shay, didn't the father mention some people's name? I'm not going to mention them, but he mentioned these people name who happen to be friends of Putin. When I say friends of Putin, they like Putin people. And you know those people you just don't mess with, you know, and maybe a pimp snatched him. I was reading not far from there, another club, Gentlemen's Club, was closed down permanently because they had busted a gang of young men too. These young boys, these young men was like 20 years old. They busted them for sex trafficking, young girls. They were snatching up young girls. And every time something like this happened, remember I said it last week, there are always women freaking helping them. My daughter-in-law just told me when I was at the house last week, she told me that a Target not far from her had women doing the same thing, going up to these young girls saying that they got locked out their car if they could just give them a ride. Now, these was young girls, if they would just give them a ride to pick up their spare key from around the corner, it wasn't far. They were helping to lure these girls for sex trafficking right here where I live in my state, not far. And my family live in a very nice area. So it ain't no type of hood thing. And I don't, I'm just saying that we don't live in like the hood. So very nice area. You wouldn't think it was happening, but it was happening right in the grocery store in the Target parking lot. Young girls, is always freaking women helping to lure these women for bad things to happen to them and for them to get involved with these rings. I thought somebody told her to come if she went by herself. Oh, I don't know. You can't just show up to audition at clubs like that. You need a manager, a connect, or a pimp. Damn, Tony, is that right? Yes, the girl said somebody led her to that club. So, I don't know. I didn't know that. I'm sorry, but I'm not partying at any club in Houston. Nah, I don't even want to go. Hey, dishing with Deb. Des, how you doing, baby? Not Deb. How you doing, Des? Thanks for joining me, love. I wish I could enter some of these edibles you got, Des. They look good. Oh, she talking about edibles. Let me see. I'm just running through some of these, Tony. They are not infused, but thank you. Oh, they talk about some edibles. Oh, okay. Those moon ricks look like a good time. Excuse my typos. I don't know. I have my nails for the first time in 5 years. Oh yeah, nails. If you get them so long, I don't know how people operate with those long nails. I have to get mine short. And shorter than this sometimes I can't type. There was a woman with Cornell X that said she was trafficked out of that club. Yes, she was. And that was strange. Because I, like Ratchet TV, thought that she said for a decade. The father said for a couple of days. I thought she said a decade too. What did you hear? Did you hear a decade or a couple of days? I'm squinching, so I don't know. I thought the girl said she was for a decade. There was a woman. Yeah, I saw that one with Cornell X. Yeah, that is sad. Yes, that ain't the type of club you just show up talking about a job. Really? So you believe someone took her there? You believe, yes, someone took her there. This is just alleged. I believe perhaps someone took her there too. I believe she went to Houston with the intentions on finding work, probably at this club. Somebody probably had offered her to go, and they was like, girl, you can make money. We always look out for each other sometime. Girl, you could make some money. So down there, and they making like a G a night. Yeah, you could dance. And she said, okay, well, I got family in Houston. I'm going to slide on down to Houston for my birthday. And while I'm there, I'm just going to try to get some employment. And unfortunately, they turned away and all this happened. How do we know they turned her away too? Who said that? Who said they turned her away and she was waiting for an Uber? Tony, Shay, where did they get that from? Oh, you thought she said 10 months? Oh, I thought she said, I don't know. She might have said 10. Who said that they turned her away from employment? Where do we get that information from? Like I said, there's so much going around. You don't know what to believe. I think someone told her to come to the club, possibly the same person who took her. Damn, Tony, you on it. Yeah, that's a possibility. Because how do they know the person who took her was a stranger? See, Tony, you and I are on the same page. How do they know the person took her was a stranger? How do they know that it was a man? How do they really know she called the Uber? And because they know a whole lot for people not to be talking. So perhaps, like I said, they're not, telling the public because they don't want it to hinder the investigation. But how do they know that she called the Uber was taking so long? So she decided, just somebody offered her a ride. She said, yeah, I'm going to catch that ride with you. How do they know? Where's all this information? You heard it in the original article? I heard it in the original article that she called the Uber, but how do they know? I don't know. How do they know somebody offered her a ride? I don't know. I thought the so-called employee told the father that allegedly. Oh, the so-called employee. Oh, the so-called employee. Right. Yeah, they know a lot, but not enough at the same time. I'm telling you, it's just another missing case. If I don't know what's going on with all these women disappearing, you guys, but I think as a community, we really need to focus on this. Just because it hasn't happened to you doesn't mean that it can't happen to you or a loved one. So that's where we need to really try to keep these stories in the forefront, because if they missing and they are alive and they are in danger. See, listen to what the father said. Now, this is Mr. Kevin talking, right? His name Kevin. Hold on. Just listen to Kevin talking. It's just strange that they know it's foul play too. I
can't put it into words. I'm trying to hold myself together and not just break down, and I don't know where my baby is or what's being done to her.
I don't know where my baby is or what's being done to her. And I know he probably feel in his spirit that something bad is wrong. But Quinnell X, I want to read something Quinnell X said. Quinnell X, y'all, let me get it together. We believe that she is a victim of foul play. We believe that she's being held against her will, Quinnell X said. But we want whoever is holding her to know that we will not rest. We will not stop looking. We will continue looking for her. We will continue hunting you. No matter what takes place, we will continue hunting you and will not forget Felicia. Now, he said we will continue hunting you. So, like I said, perhaps they just not putting a lot of stuff in the public. It sounds like they know something was foul play. They know for a fact, and they believe someone has her. I don't know. Let me read this. Oh, yes, Shay. The dad said somebody at the front desk told him that. Okay, thank you for helping me. Someone at the front desk. Because I tell you what happens, you guys. When I listen to when I listen to Ratchet TV at nighttime, I fall asleep. But he had some good show, and I did hear the father a little bit, but I fell asleep. So I don't get all of it. If I don't get up and I'm not off, that I can go and rewatch it, I don't watch it. But they have spoken to someone, and that's what they told them. But again, when you are held against your will, and even in working in those nightclubs, a lot of times you tend to keep your mouth shut, and you are programmed on what to say. So if someone comes in the club, this is what you say. If they ask you this question, this is how you answer. So if they've been there for years and they've been working for years there and they know things have happened in that establishment, then they know how to answer. So perhaps that's how the girl was able to tell the father whatever at the front desk, because they know what to say and what not to say. Hey, Monty, what's going on, baby? Monty, you heard about this story? I mean, me and Tony and Shay, we heard about it. Tony, do you be over at Ratchets? Oh, you said I fell asleep last night. Yeah, I fall asleep. He have some good shows. You know what, you guys? I have to tell you, I'm jealous of Ratchet. I'm a little jealous of Ratchet because he has some hell of a shows and he can get a hold to anybody, any information. And I want to be just like him when my channel finished developing. I'm going to do other stuff, but I really want to stick on this missing person. Now, I have a lot of cases. I was telling Diva, I have a lot of cases I could pump out every day. I think I told y'all that, I just don't have the manpower. It's too much for me working 12 hours, and the stories just coming like this, y'all, like flowing water. The stories just come. We have so many missing, murdered, trafficked, human trafficking, right? That word gets me. Women of color, you can just do it all day. You could really do it all day, you guys. But, it's not like I'm going to quit my job and just be an advocate and go out and start doing that. But I am going to try my best. And I have been I brought an editing application and I'm working it. But I'm having a hard time doing the voiceover. I have to get the timing right. So I'm still working on the little voiceovers because I'd rather do uploads. If I can get this mastered, I can upload these like in, say, a half an hour, then it'll be fine. I can upload more. But what I decide to do is just upload how I'm doing now and then come back and talk about it. But it's so much other stuff. Have you been watching Peachy TV? No, I haven't. She's been working the Alexis Morales case out of South Bend. That's another one, you guys. And these are young girls. It's strange. It's so strange. These young girls is only like in their 20s and early 20s. Now with Alexis Morales, I do believe that maybe her alleged entanglement cost her life. That's just how I'm going to leave that. Her alleged entanglement cost her life. Because whoever did whatever they did to her, they had love for Messiah. And that's why they didn't do anything to Messiah. They weren't crazy like that. They were crazy to even take her life. But they weren't crazy enough to take that baby's life. Because they had some type of love for him. So I haven't followed up on that, but I will. I wish we could get more press. No, we're not going to get press. We talked about that earlier, Monty. You know why we're not going to get press? Because we are judged. We are judged a lot of times because of the way we look, the way we act, and they don't think we worthy of the press like the next woman, like the, what's her name, Gabby Petito's and all those people. We're not worthy of press like that. We've always been trash to them. And so when these women come out looking a certain way, seeking certain type of employment, they devalue us even more so that we're not going to get the press. You have to have money, but a good way to keep the story out there and to keep these stories on the forefront is social media. That everybody on social media, I don't give a shit if they give 20 minutes of airtime to these stories. Be out there. You have to go to your local politicians, but a lot of times they already know what's happening. They are a part of some of this stuff, believe it or not. That's why I said high power people is hard to touch. And we're worth a whole lot to some people, unalive versus live, if you know what I mean, catch, because I don't want to, say too much. Yeah, we not gonna get more press. You know what? If her dad doesn't stay down there and stay on top of HPD and all those people, this too will go away shortly. That's why I'm glad Ratchet TV does really in-depth, searching and investigating. I just bring it to you some a little bit. I really feel this is my spirit, Mz.Teavalocity. I would love to start doing content on missing Black women. Quiet time is so limited for me. The kids, yes. Tony, yes. Try it. But you know what? If you're good at editing, Tony, maybe it wouldn't take you as long as I would, Like I said, maybe an hour to, hey, my baby Redbone. I know I get so excited when I see Redbone. Redbone been with me from the beginning. And even though you don't see her here because she's busy working with her family as well, hey, we always stay connected. Love you, Redbones. Yeah, Tony, you should try it. I wish, you know what, Tony? I'm not going to say this and I'm not going to say I wish, but if you would like, perhaps you and I could do a little something, like I said, if a person knows the social media aspect of it, I mean, you can have your own channel and we could just, work together, do a little networking if you want to. That's just something I'm saying. But it's so many stories, Tony. If you just could have an hour's time and you know how to edit, then you could pump these stories out too. I hope more people get involved. I hope more people get involved in following these type of stories because, like I say, you guys, and this is not an exaggeration, I could do this story, a different story every day. I probably could do 2 or 3 of them a day if I was that good, because that's how many of these stories are popping up. I go over to the crime area and there's tons of these stories and there's tons of domestic partnership murders. It's tons of stuff like that. And it's on the increase. It's not on the decrease. And if the community don't step in really and try to help in the best way possible that they can by keeping this on the forefront, by putting their boots on the ground, helping find advocates, keeping the pressure on these people, is going to be a lot more. It's not going to decrease. It's going to increase, unfortunately, if we don't get enough people to help. I'm just trying. Let's see. She had some stuff going on, but I think it was somebody outside. If the 2 main men in her life. Yeah, you talking about Alexis Morales. Yeah, that was crazy. Hey, I'm so glad to see you, Redbone. Let me see. Let's see. So yeah, I'm gonna do my best. And Monty likes doing this. The other women, Tony. Monty likes doing this as well. Like I said, a lot. We have time constraint, and if you are a YouTuber, let me take this light down, you guys. Let me tell you something. When you are a serious YouTuber, most people quit their job to YouTube. I haven't found it in my spirit to quit my job and do YouTube 24 hours. I just haven't, say, hey, I'm just going to give this up. I am working on some things that would afford me the opportunity to probably go part-time and do YouTube full-time somewhat, but I'm not there. I'm working on it. So, but yeah, I would love to do this more. I would love to get so fast at that damn editing that I could pump these stories out more. This is important. These are young girls missing. Their whole lives are being taken away from them, shortened. Some of them have, well, according to family, a lot of times when you listen to family and friends on the news, you hear them say they were full of life. They were this, they were that, they were, and of course you're not going to talk bad about your child, but still, a lot of them had futures, was looking for, looking to the future, and their lives are cut short from bullshit, senseless murders for no reason, because somebody don't want you. If you don't want me no more, let me just walk away. But I think when it comes to this domestic partnership and a lot of these cases with these missing or murdered young Black women has something to do with maybe allegedly them wanting to get out of their relationships with the baby's fathers. And a lot of it has to do with some type of abuse, whether it's physical, mental, emotional abuse. They have been abused by the person or that they love so much. And then you want to leave them, and then the unthinkable happened to them. That's crazy. If you don't want somebody, just walk away from them. And when you know you're in danger, it's not easy to escape danger like that, to escape abuse. A lot of times, and I'm not going to say, I'm going to talk about me. I told you I was in a not physical, but mental abusive relationship. And my main thing was at that point is taking care of my children. So I stayed longer than I should have. But now I used to give them hell too. But it was an abusive relationship that I stayed in for the sake of my children, not knowing that it was going to affect my children in the worst way. I thought I was doing what was right for them, to keep them sheltered, fed, loved by me, and a nice environment, nice school, and all that. It don't work all the time. So, and some people feel trapped. Some people can't do what I did. I thought, hey, I'm out of here. I made an exit plan, packed up my shit, my kids, and I boogied and never looked back. And it's been years, right? So everybody can't do that. Some people get stuck in a relationship and they can't get out. And they seem to think restraining orders work. Restraining orders is not worth the piece of paper that they put on. If somebody wants you, they're going to get you. Especially if they're not in their right state of mind. They're going to get you. So a restraining order is nothing. So a lot of the cases that I've been going through and looking at and actually want to upload is so many of them. It's heartbreaking how many of a lot of them are ending at the hands of a domestic partner. I don't know. So it's not easy. It's not easy for some of these people to escape those type of relationships. Now, back to Felicia. Felicia probably went there to make a bag, just like the Alexis Ware story. They said she was about her bag. A lot of times people are about their bag, but all money ain't good money, like they said earlier. And we should be very careful. If you go out to the club, go with someone. If you're not going with your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your whomever, your mate, and you out there, don't go out there by yourself. Now, I used to be one that go out by myself all the time. Now, I may get to the club and see someone, but I used to run by myself. So when her father made the statement like she don't run with people, I was like, oh, I could relate because I didn't hang out with people. I may go to the club and maybe some girlfriends or somebody was there that I knew, that I was cool with. But as far as all the time going out, hey, girl, let's go. I've never been that type of person. I just ran by myself. But nowadays, that's not safe at all. Not at all. And don't ever put your drink down and walk away from it. Don't ever do that. Just finish the drink or discard it. Don't leave it with anyone. So it's so many things that you should really focus on doing now when you go out. Is for one, go with a real friend, because we had some cases we talked about last week that we felt like the girl was set up. The girl was set up by so-called friends, so we don't know nowadays. But you should go with somebody. You shouldn't drink a drink after you have walked away from it and went to the bathroom, dance. I don't give a damn if you put a napkin over it. Tell somebody watch it, just don't drink it. I would love to. I should at least try to join you. You can, sweetheart. We could talk about it, Tony. You can reach me. I think you would know my email. Reach me via email because maybe you and I could get together and do some things. Yeah. And then, like I said, you branch out on your own or whatever. I'm just reaching out saying we can network and put some stuff together. I know Monty likes this as well. Our times are conflicting. That's why we haven't gotten together. And I have another lady, Marvo, but I don't know how much she could do because she has a little baby too. See, and you guys have children. My time is my job, 12 hours, So, what? You look great. Oh, thank you. You think so? Thank you so much, Redbone. You guys are always so sweet to me. So, okay, let me try to catch up. I'm going to look into the editing software. I have already set up my channel. I just never have time to go live. Post and uploads may work for you. Yeah, post and uploads. Like I said, Tony, I tell you, I am a woman of a particular age, and I had the toughest time. And for a long time, I depended on my boys. Like I said, one of my boys, this is what he do. Both of them, both of my boys do this for a living, so they could pump that shit out like that. But they never seemed to have time for me. So after me fighting myself, like, oh, I'm too old, I can't learn that. Oh shit, I don't have time. I can't remember. I said, you know what? Get off your ass, go buy your software editing app and learn. Learn. Don't depend on no one. Learn. And that's what I started doing. I learned. I'm self-taught. And I said, I'm going to turn my television. I have a little television on my desk. And I said, I'm going to turn it. And whatever I need to know, I'm going to Google it. And then I'll go step by step. And that's how I'm getting this far, you guys. But it takes a lot of work. Because like I said, for them voiceovers, it's hard. It's being very tough for me. Let me continue to read these. I was told to read these. Yes. Let's see. I'm going to look into. Okay. Mama Tiva, I can possibly help you. Oh, thank you, Monty. You can see, Monty, good. You guys are much younger and better and more. You're good at the editing and you're good at the social media aspect. Like I can pick up more views and stuff like that. And I probably could network a little better if I knew social media. Like I said, it's very time consuming for me. Thank you. I appreciate the compliments, you guys. Uploads are easier for me as well due to time constraints. Yeah, and that's why I was trying to work on uploads. The thing about the mental abuse is you don't see it coming until you in it. Tony, you absolutely right about that. Because a lot of times too, I was saying, well, I wish my husband was the way he was before. We used to have all these great times. We were best friends. I wish that things was like that. So I really didn't see this term coming when he started being, mentally abusive. I didn't see that coming because, for one, it happened gradually. And I always say this: if you allow someone to do something to you, and you will learn where I get that I don't forgive easy, it comes from this. If you allow someone to do something to you, and you don't nip that shit in the bud, they gonna continue to do it. And that's a fact. And that's why I don't forgive people. Because if you took the liberty and you thought it was okay to call me a bitch the first time, you're not gonna have a problem with calling me a bitch the second time. So I don't play that. That's why. And probably it comes from something happened in my past that I just don't play that. All that I'm sorry, you have a honeymoon period, then you back dogging me the next week or something when something goes wrong or whatever. So I have a hard time with that honeymoon period and being in an abusive relationship, allowing people to do something to me. I say, you do it to me once, flip it. Shit, I'm done. Nah, I don't give a shit what you say. I don't care how many diamond rings I've had it all. I don't care how many cars, how much money you give me, how many shopping sprees. You screwed me over once. But it's not always that easy when you're in love with someone, y'all. I'm just saying. It takes an average of 7 attempts to leave. Yes. Probably so, Monty. I didn't sit there and count them. But when I got fed up, y'all. Oh, man, y'all. I did this shit so sweet. It was so crazy, right? Well, it was sweet to me, right? I said, okay, just call me one more bitch. Please, I beg you. just call me one more bitch. It didn't happen. So he went on a golfing trip. And I said, okay, I got your ass. I called that U-Haul, had somebody come help me pack up all my shit, put everything in the U-Haul that I was taking with me, hitched my SUV on the back of that, my kids and my dog, and I drove 17 hours with my kids, and I never looked back. When he came home from his golfing trip, it was like, what the fuck? Where's that bike? Ring, 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 ring. That's it. I planned it. I said, yep, I'm going now. At some point, we also need to have a conversation about sisters trying to fix broken men who need intense therapy. We got to stop that shit. Yep, exactly. That's fucked up. Just can't trust people. No, you can't. 8, not right. I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so far behind. That's why Diva keep telling me, keep reading. I'm sorry. Y'all know I get. Hey, Lady K, how are you, baby? I'm doing well. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you, Tony. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that. I appreciate. Thanks for sharing it. You know, you guys, and I'm gonna make this brief when I finish going through this. Damn, I'll never cut you up. So 100%, and I had it done to it as well. See how far behind I am. So glad to see you, Redbone and Monty too. I'm so glad. Yeah, I played that real smart, didn't I? Yeah. And one thing about me, I'm like you, Tony. When I'm done, I'm done. There's no coming back. And sometimes I wish. Maybe not, but sometimes I said, no, I wish you wasn't like that. You know, you got to give people chances because God gives you a chance. But God's not finished with me yet. You know, he gives you a chance to forgive. But it seems like when you forgive, and that's probably why I'm not good at the YouTube game, you guys, you know, and I'm not getting, you know, very far when it comes to YouTube and networking and stuff like that. Because I have a hard time with people tearing me down or spinning narratives about me or doing any type of harm to me, even if it's a game, because I'm just not that type of person, you know. I take my life for a value. You know, I believe in myself. I have morals and values, and there's certain things I won't do. So when I'm done, I'm done. And that's just it. I don't go back and forth. So I can't play the YouTube game that well when it comes to being in a particular sector. I can't play it that well because you're not going to play in my face. You're not going to degrade me. You're not going to drop what you call receipts and talk about my family and my disabled kids and my dead mother and father and then expect me to come back and smile in your face. That shit's not happening with me. It's not happening with me. Not at all. I don't care how good it's always. I have an exit plan no matter what the situation is. I just think that way in life. Yeah, I did. I booked. When he came home, I was gone. He was calling quick, fast. And let me tell you one thing about it. They'll tell you, I believe in good credit. If I don't believe in shit else, I got master credit when it comes to that. You know? And so I had credit cards, and to this day, on my own, I have credit cards with nice limits on it. So it ain't nothing that I can't buy myself. It ain't nothing that I can't walk in and just buy. And I'm not bragging on myself. I'm just telling you, from shit that happened to me in the past, I learned it was certain things that I needed to do to have, and certain ways I had to move in life because I was by myself and I had to depend on myself now. And so I made sure that credit was one of them. Because see, I had been there before. I had fell before. And when I got back up a different person. And I was about my business. So it's certain things that I do. So even if I don't have cash, I could walk in there and say, charge it. But you still got to pay for that shit, right? But I'm just saying, it's certain things. So when he left, I had money in the bank because I had been saving. I had been making a plan. I didn't make a lot, but I was saving. Because one thing about it, my husband was a hell of a provider. He was a hell of a provider. He just wasn't the man for me at the end. Right? So I knew to save my money and I knew to build my credit. And so when I jetted, I had money in the bank and I had a good credit. And that's how I started all over again. So when I walked in to get an apartment, I didn't need no down payments because I didn't need, hey, I got to answer that. I didn't need a down payment because my credit was so good. Yep. Yeah. Hey, Melissa, what's happening? Okay, let me catch up, you guys, and let me put my glasses on before my mommy in the background hit me with that text. Put your glasses on, because she know I'll be squinching. Listen, I love this man of mine. Okay, let's see. Listen, I love this man of mine, but trust, if he moves wrong, I'm good. I'm definitely have accounts and cards he doesn't know about. And it's a shame because that's not what you go into a marriage for. But I was taught that long time ago as a young girl that you always have your own. Because I guess you never know what happens, right? So you have your own. So I was taught, when I started seeing shit go shaky, because this is a fact. I didn't have to work. I didn't have to work. I worked part-time. When my kids went to high school, I did the opposite. I quit working to be abreast of them. Where most people, do it opposite when they little. Nope, I quit working to be abreast of what was going on with my children in high school. And then I went back to work part-time for the bank because I didn't have to, because my husband made that type of money. And like I said, he provided everything for us. And I do believe that some of it was financial stress too, that helped create a disaster for our marriage. But anywho, it's over. It was over. But when I started seeing it get shaky, I said, girl, save your coins. Save your little Rudy Poo coins, put them in the bank. And then I worked in the bank. So when people would come in there, right? And they had large amounts of money, and they had IRAs and they had all these investments, I would do this. I would say, oh, hey, Mr. So-and-so, how are you? I said, Mr. So-and-so, I have $10,000, and I like to know what would you suggest I do with that $10,000? How did you grow your account? And they would tell you. White folks love to tell you their business. Sometimes. So, and they would tell me. So I would do a little bit of what they say with what I had, and that's it helped me out a lot. It did, but everybody don't have it that way. So I always try to make sure I have my own. Okay, hey baby. Okay, let me try to read. Right, Redbone 11. If we didn't learn anything from our elders as women, it should be to look out for ourselves. Exactly. My mother always told me that. She said, have your own. And so that's why sometimes it's kind of hard for me to see a woman that don't work, just rely upon a man. Because what happens if that man leaves her, or perhaps that man dies? What would she have for herself if she didn't learn any type of skills? She just stayed home, I don't know. I don't mind working. I just believe in having my own. I was independent before him. I was raised that way. I'm not hiding his money. Just some of mine, just in case I would. Yeah, I get it. I mean, you have to, and there's so many women now that are independent, and it's hard to really maneuver if you don't have certain things in place. And I've always said, even my children have said to me, Mom, all you worry about is your credit, because I know what this game is about. Now they may be changing the game. I heard that they were doing away with credit scores and stuff like that. But until they do away with it, I'm gonna continue to keep a good credit score. Let me put a little lipstick on, y'all. It's like listen. Okay. Sorry, y'all. My lips just looked a little funny. But anywho, until they do away with it, I'm gonna continue to do what I could do to maintain my credit. Always have good credit. Yeah, some men are financially abusive. Monty, you are absolutely right. They don't give you money, see, because they want you to depend on. That's why I think it's so important for women to be independent to a certain extent. Not so independent, you guys, because this is mucking us up too when it comes to relationship. I'm gonna go here now. This is a segue into that. That statement Monty made. It's okay to be so independent, but it's not okay to be so independent that you think you don't need a man. See, because God created man and woman for a reason as helpmates to each other. And so, not to say you need, like you go, hold on, you guys. Okay, not so much to the fact that you say, oh, I don't need a man. And I know I hear that a lot. Oh, I don't need a man. I don't need a man for nothing. I make my own money. I make six figures. I got my own car. I got my own house. You do, because that's how God created us, to be loved and to be loved by other people. You know what I mean? And you want that love. You want that type of love, especially when you get older. You don't want to grow old by yourself. Now, you may enjoy the young life, like you don't need a man and you party and you just, sowing your oats and just doing you. But as you get older, you don't want to grow old by yourself. And so when you say, I don't need a man, that's some of our damn problem. A lot of women, they have become so independent. Y'all might hate me for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. It might not be popular, but anyhow, we become so independent that we dominate a relationship sometime, or we have so much masculine energy when it comes to independent, that we don't allow man to be a man. And it doesn't matter whether you have higher education, you have a better salary, a man should always be a man. And when we take away some of those things and some name calling to do certain things, we emasculate a man to a certain degree. And that's why relationships don't last, because we won't allow man to be a man. And some men just don't want to be men. So it's like a 50-50, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from. It's okay for me to be independent, but it's better for me to allow my husband to provide and be the man that he should be for me and my family. Y'all get where I'm coming from? All that independent shit is cool because I'm independent, but I would also allow my husband to be my husband and to be a man of the family. So y'all get where I come from? Yeah, Monty, it's important that you do learn credit. Yeah, and credit management. It should be taught in high school, but you got to remember, keep it cute, keep it cute. But you have to remember too, some things aren't taught to people of color for a reason. It's systematically done, it's designed. The less we know about investment, money management, credit, and all that, as long as we ignorance to those things, it would be very difficult for us to maneuver the way that we should be able to maneuver, because we don't have the buying power that we need sometimes. We don't have the financial education that we need. They don't teach finances in our school, but they teach them in other schools. They teach finances in Virginia, but they don't teach too much of it in Maryland and DC. Not to my knowledge, unless they just started doing it after I got out the school system. But they didn't teach that. And it should be taught to us. And it should start at home. But again, your parents can't teach you what they don't know. They have to know it. See, I was telling my children as they were getting older about credit and as they were adults, and they just thought that, oh, that's all you worry about, mom, credit this, credit that. But then their asses learned. You got a higher interest rate on your car because of your credit score. Your house costs more because of your credit score. This happened because of your credit score. Because they do. Oh, something must be going on here. Tread lightly, keep it cute. They must be talking about somebody. I don't know. Nah, anybody who doesn't need a man as a heterosexual woman has likely never had a man in her life. That's true. That's true. I don't know. Something must be going on. So, anywho, so they didn't teach us that, so we don't know it. But a lot of times, if you're my age, 60 years old, my parents didn't teach me about finances, but I tried to teach my children, and their dad also taught them about finances. But now they realize that how important credit was, because they had to do their interest rates was crazy versus mine. I walked in to buy a car. You don't need anything down. You can have any car in here. And I was like, okay, with your credit score, wow, you can have anything in here. And this is not bragging. This is just facts. I'm telling you the truth. You can walk out with any car. Well, you can always walk out with any car if you could pay for it. I mean, that's reality. Shit, I could walk out with any car if I could pay for it. But I knew what they meant. They didn't charge me anything. Just sign the paper and you go because of your credit. Where, again, if you don't have credit, you have to pay a hell of an interest rate on things, and it costs you double, sometimes triple, depending on it. I don't know what they're talking about. I knew the negative of credit, not the benefits of how to let credit work for me. Yeah, you and I discussed that when I was doing a couple of finance stuff about finances last year, how important credit is. Now, I don't know, from hearsay, they supposed to be getting away. Hold on, you guys. I have a ring bell and I would hear it, but I don't know. They supposed to be doing away with credit scores and stuff. I didn't read into it, and so I don't know much about that. Oh, dang, they got something going on here. Oh, I got a little action. But anywho, so that's that. I lost my thought. I think I was talking about credit, right? I was talking about credit. But you do need to maintain your credit because you don't want those high credit scores. And Monty and I talked about that before, and I was trying to do a little bit of investing and stuff. But again, so much stuff happening with the stock market and, with that pandemic and everything, that things went crashing, investments and stuff. So it's hard to keep up with now. You guys, I've been here an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to just do this. It's always nice. See if somebody, oh, I miss you so much. You guys, it feel good coming in. I tell you, I'm glad to see you all. It's not a lot of people, but it's my people who support me, and I greatly appreciate it. And like I said, I have a schedule. I did. I don't want to show too much of it, mofo, but I have a schedule. Some is uploads and some are lives. And so I'm going to be, when I get off here now, I'm going to work on the upload for another missing person. Yep, another missing person that I'm doing. I'm telling you, them stories pump out so much. You see what you could do, Tony Montana. I appreciate it. You can hit me up on my email, my Gmail. We love you too. I love you too, Redbone. Thank you so much. You can hit me up on my Gmail. Again, I am going to try to stay on top of these missing persons. I don't want to start doing the other one. Now, if the end result is that they unalive, I'll talk about it, but I don't think I want to do any homicides or nothing like that. Even though it's my crime TV, I'm going to do it up. Thank you so much, Melissa. Melissa, you know I'll be in your bushes too. Melissa, I like your haircut. I really like that. That haircut fits you nice too, dear. So if it is anybody that want to help me, please contact me and let's get together. We could do a behind the scenes. This is our behind the scenes. We can go and do a StreamYard, a private StreamYard, and we could talk about it and see how we could start gathering information and how we could work it into some show. I would greatly appreciate that. Like I said, I'm going over and I'm going to have the balls, not the balls, but you know, the nerve. Let me take that back. I'm going to have the nerve to jump on Ratchet TV platform, but he probably put me off and try to get to know some people over there. I am in another Facebook group, so I'm going to try to work on that, see if we can't get more exposure and get more, you know, people to come our way so we could keep this stuff out in the forefront. I'm going to do that. With that being said, you guys, I truly appreciate you all, and I'm going to run this one more time, and then we'll get out of here. I'm not going to run that one more time. No, I'm not. But anyway, this is Felicia. She was last seen in Houston, Texas on April the 15th. Her bloody cell phone was found. Her father, Kevin, is down in Houston. Her father is in Houston, Texas, looking for him. I do believe that the brother has a GoFundMe because he needs finances to stay there and plus to continue investigating what's, you know, his daughter whereabouts. Is a sad story. 24 years old. Again, I think it's more to the story. Hopefully the reason why they're not letting the public know too much is because they don't want to hinder the investigation. We never want to hinder an investigation because they are professionals at doing their job. We just pray and hope that they really doing their job just as hard for us as they do for Becky. Okay? I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I hope they do it. So this is this. If you see a king's crown crooked, help him straighten it up. If you see a queen's crown crooked, help her straighten up. Speak life and wisdom into your princes and your princesses. They are our joint heirs, our future. They looking to inherit something other than mess and stress, right? And drama. As always, be a blessing, not a bother. It doesn't take you much to bless someone. A simple hello, how are you? You look beautiful. I like your hat. Hey, can I grab that cup of coffee for you? Here's a couple of dollars. Have lunch on me. You have a radiant smile. I love that tie you have on, sir. You never know what someone is going through. And it doesn't take money, monetary gifts all the time to be a blessing to someone. With that being said, until we meet again, you guys be safe and peace out. Thanks for joining me. Love you all.